Hello everyone, my name is Sydney and today I am going to be doing the mid-year book Freakout Tag. It's really been going around a lot lately. I think it's an older tag, but I've really enjoyed everybody else's videos, so I wanted to get in on the trend too. So without further ado, let's just get into it. The first question is the hardest hitting question, and that is the best book you have read so far. I've read about like 26, 27 books so far by the time I'm filming this, so that's quite a few to choose from really, and it was tough, but I came up with Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This book was a total surprise for me because everybody was talking about it, but I'm not super into sci-fi. Like, I really have to be in the mood for it, and I just so happened to pick it up when I was in Seattle visiting family because it was on sale, and I was like, I guess I'll give it a chance, and I loved it. I blew through this. It had me on the edge of my seat. It was amazing, and I love the mixed media of how it tells the story because it's amazing, and I've never read anything like it. The next question is the best sequel, and I haven't really read too many sequels, so I didn't have that many to choose from, but honestly, it would be a lie if I chose anything other than A Court of Wings and Ruin because this was a great conclusion to the trilogy. It's not my favorite one in the trilogy, Court of Mist and Fury is, but you guys, it wrapped it up nicely. I mean, it has its flaws, but Sarah J. Maas is book crack, and if you don't love this, what the heck? Yeah, next question is a new release that you haven't read yet, and that would be Strange to Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I don't know too much about this book. I do know that it is about a world that everybody's somehow forgotten about except for this one boy, and he works in a library, so I mean that's great, but then people from this lost world come and find him and like want to know, I think, their history or something like that. I don't know. It's a decent sized book. I think this is a series as well, but this is obviously the first one. This is a signed copy that I got at one of my bookstores by me, so that's always super exciting. But yeah, I've never read anything by Laini Taylor, so I really want to get into this. The next question is the most anticipated book release that hasn't come out yet. And that for me is going to be They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. The premise of it sounds really intriguing. It's about like a futuristic world, but it's similar to today's world where you just find out that day, like, hey, you're gonna die by the end of the day. So then there's like this website that they can find other people who are on their death days as well and spend their last days with them and fulfill whatever bucket list they have and that kind of ordeal. And it's about these two boys who meet each other on their death day and just their experiences. And I think that's really exciting. This comes out September 5 of this year, so I can't wait to get my hands on it. Plus, I've never read anything by Adam Silvera, so that's also something I wanted to do as well. The next book is The Biggest Disappointment, and for me, that's going to have to be The Last Boy and Girl in the World by Siobhan Vivian. And the premise of this sounded so cool. Like, I picked it up, I was waiting for some pictures to be printed at Meyer, and I picked it up for something to read. And the beginning kind of caught me, as did like the synopsis, because it's about this town who, like, this whole town is sinking underwater because of so much rain. So basically they all have to evacuate because their city is about to be underwater. And it follows this girl Keely and her friends and just her senior year and the experiences that she's going through as the town that she's always known and grown up in and planned to live on, or live in, I should say, is getting demolished. So I just found Keely an interesting character at first, but really annoying because I like that she has like a snarky sense of humor, but at the same point, like, she totally would blow off anything serious happening by just these outrageous snarky comments that you wouldn't expect to be spoken, I guess you could say. And the romance in here kind of irked me as well, not because like I didn't want them to be together, but they just kept doing everything wrong. So I don't know, I wouldn't say this was a good book that I have read this year. The next question is the biggest surprise, and for me that is going to be Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan McGuire. This is the first, and I don't know if it's just a trilogy or if it's going to be more than that, but The second one just came out, and the third one is set to release next summer, I think. But these are super duper short. They're just little novellas. But I really was surprised by this because it was sold to me as like people who have fallen into magical worlds. So like Wonderland, Narnia, like those kinds of deals where the kids go in and they're gone for they don't even know how long, and then they come back out to the real world where we all are, and just how they deal after. So this is all about like the after. And this girl gets sent to a school that is meant for those types of kids, and because basically society hasn't known what to do with them, so they all get shipped off to this school. And it was just really interesting, and how they had all the other worlds like going on. There was like nonsense worlds and sensical worlds and just all sorts of different things. And like the main character is asexual, which I've never read an asexual character before, so that was really interesting. There's like a mystery in here. There was so much happening in this book, and it is this small. Like, what? The next book, or question I should say, is your favorite debut author. I'm just going to do author new to me because I don't think I've read that many debut authors, but that would be Rainbow Rowell. I inhaled this book in one day, and it is not that small, but it is so good. And I read her Kindred Spirits little, like, this little guy as well. I read this last year, but this doesn't really count. It's not really a book. It's literally a short story. There's not that many pages to it. But I loved the way that she wrote this. She has such an interesting style, and the characters in here were amazing, and just the things it talks about and the experiences the girl goes through are so relatable. I just adored this book so much. It's about this girl, Cather, who is a twin, and they both go to college, and like she doesn't really necessarily know what to do with herself because she has a lot of anxiety and like doesn't ever want to go out and talk to people. And her roommate is just kind of strange at the beginning, like she's never really there, and when she is there, she brings this weird boy in, and you know, Kath doesn't really know how to deal with it. And she's an English major, which is what I'm going to school for in the fall when I finally get to go back to school. And yeah, so this was so good, and just like the things that she like deals with and overcomes, and so touching. Which also leads to the next character or question, which is your favorite character that you have read, and that would be Levi. I adore Levi. He's so quirky. He's funny. He works at Starbucks. What else do you want? Like, he's fabulous. And just the way that he talks to Kath about her she writes fan fiction for Simon Snow, which is basically kind of similar to like Harry Potter, but she thinks that people will think she's weird for doing that, but Levi like wants to hear about it and wants her to read it to him, and wants to know about her passion. And I think that is so sweet. I love when there's other characters supporting people's passions no matter what it is. Like, I always like to do that for my friends, and so it was so great to see that done in this book. Just warms my heart. I love you, Rainbow Rowell. The next question is your favorite crush. Obviously Rysand. I cannot get over my love for Rysand. I adore him and everything he does. He's fantastic. The fact that he allows Farah to be herself and like work through her problems and let her feel, but also tell her at the same time like she's not caged. She can be whoever she wants to be, and that she is strong, and just to like encourage her for her own like independence and strength. And he's so wonderful. The next question is a book that made you cry, and for me that is going to have to be The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. This book was so freaking fantastic. Everybody has loved it that I've talked to that's read it, and it's just great. I think this is the only debut novel I actually like read, like debut author I should say, but this deals with the Black Lives Matter movement. It's about this girl Star who she's the only witness to a police officer shooting her childhood best friend and killing him for what appears to be no particular reason. And she goes to school at like a normal prep school kind of ordeal where she is definitely like one of, I think like she said like 2 or 4 black kids that are even in the whole school, but where she lives is more of like the ghetto area where, you know, there is the gang issues and there is like the drug issues and all of that kind of stuff, and just how she deals with the repercussions of that in both communities, and like when the communities collide and just everything she goes through. My mom is gonna read it. Funny enough, she bookmarked it with a Kleenex. But question is a book that made you happy, and for me that is going to be The Statistical Probability of Love at First Sight. A lot of people don't actually like this book. It is really cheesy. Like, I walked into it knowing that this was probably going to be the most cliche love story I was going to read this year, and it definitely was, but I really, really liked it. This is my first book I've ever read by Jennifer E. Smith, and I thought it was adorable. I really like this cover too. Like, I like the font. Like, this is how her books always kind of look, but except for Windfall, that one is finally like different from her norm. But no, I really like it. Next, we have the best book to film adaptation, and I don't have the book with me, but that would be Everything, Everything by Nicola Yoon. If you don't know, it's about a girl who is allergic to everything. She has been her whole life, as long as she's known, and she has lived in a house and never been outside of it. And the only people that have been in there are her mom and then her nurse, and then sometimes like a teacher comes in every now and again because still got to get an education, and she adores reading and all of that kind of stuff, and her world is perfectly normal until the boy next door moves in, and then I'm assuming you can figure out where it goes from there. But it's really cute, and I really enjoyed it. Like, I didn't expect too much from it because it was so short, and I figured it would be a fluffy contemporary, but I really actually appreciated it, and I liked the way it was told. It also had like some pictures and lists and stuff in the book, and I thought that was really cute, and I loved the ending of the book. The movie is obviously different, and then the way that they show the character conversing with the other over like IM. So Maddie and Ollie are like talking on like IMs on the computer in the book, but in the movie it like kind of just shows it in a different way, and I thought that was really interesting and a nice choice because it's kind of boring to like be watching over their shoulders the whole time that they IM. And yeah, I mean, I wish the ending could have been the exact same as it was in the book, but I mean, I still overall liked the arc of it, and I thought it was great. The next question is the most beautiful book cover, and for me I have two, but for two completely different reasons. The first I'd like to talk about is Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Sepetys. This cover, I saw it at a secondhand bookstore, and I actually had never seen this cover. I think it's beautiful. I love the simplicity of it, but also like the things that I'm sure this all represents. This is a historical fiction book about I believe it's World War II and maybe World War I, but they are going through something in a war kind of deal, and I believe, yeah, okay, so 1941, but yeah, she is in being sent to Siberia, so that's the snow, but it sounds like it's gonna break my heart, and I haven't read it yet, but I really, really want to. I just need to sit down and have a box of tissues and be prepared for whatever this has in store for me. But the next book I want to talk about is my edition of Alice in Wonderland. I saw this and I had to get it. Like, I hadn't read it before and I had been wanting to, so it was the perfect excuse. But look at this cover. Like, truly, is this not like the most beautiful thing you've ever seen? Like, the artwork, I love it. And like, even some random papers, but even like these little end flaps are so cute. I loved it. Last question is a book that you need to read by the end of the year, and for me, I'm gonna have to say The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I've had this on my bookshelf for, I want to say, almost a year now. I feel like I got this last summer, and I've heard really great things about it. I heard it is kind of hard to get into, just because there's like a lot of world building, and like she has like a really like dreamy kind of writing style, but I have heard nothing but great things about the Raven Cycle. Alright, that is it for this book Freakout Tag. I hope you enjoyed my video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!